And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the live news desk. I'm Andrew Leach, and you're tuning into the essential updates on what matters most, both globally and right here in Fairmont. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. We have what's going on globally today. We got some trade talks, we got some leaf pickup, we got a bunch of stuff going on. So,
I can certainly give you a concise rundown of the major global stories today,
let's do
October 28th, 2025. Here are the key international developments.
Trade and development.
Trade and diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
U.S. President Trump and China's leader Xi Jinping are scheduled to meet this week.
Okay.
Negotiators have reached a framework for a trade deal to prevent new severe tariffs, sending global markets higher. The agreement involves averting the threat of 100% tariffs on Chinese imports.
Okay.
President Trump has already signed a trade agreement with Japan's prime minister and is being nominated by her for the Nobel Peace Prize for his diplomatic efforts.
Okay.
Humanitarian crisis. The Gaza aid situation remains critical. The World Food Program, WFP, and UN agencies warn that the aid being allowed in is far short of the volume needed, with many people still facing catastrophic levels of hunger. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, recently ruled that Israel must allow the UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, to deliver aid.
Let's dig more into that and how Israel is stopping aid. What the fuck?
That's an important question that a news stream should cover in depth. The core of the issue is the massive gap between the humanitarian need, the promised aid levels under the ceasefire, and what Israel is actually permitting to enter Gaza. Here's a summary of the facts and the reasons cited for the ongoing aid obstruction. 1. Mechanisms of restriction. Israel's actions restrict aid through multiple, distinct methods. The dual-use list. Israeli authorities block many essential items, labeling them as potential dual-use goods that could have military or civilian applications. Aid groups report that items like water pumps, pipes, mattresses, tents, and spare parts for water and sewage systems are frequently rejected. Truck quotas. The ceasefire deal called for a minimum of 600 aid trucks daily, but UN and aid groups report that the number of trucks actually permitted to enter has consistently been less than 100 per day, on average. Targeting UNRWA. Israel has banned the UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, the UN's main provider of services in Gaza, from operating in the territory. Israel has accused UNRWA of employing Hamas members and lacking impartiality, though the ICJ later found these allegations to be unsubstantiated. New registration system. International NGOs report that Israel has implemented a new NGO registration system, which it is using to arbitrarily reject applications from trusted, long-standing aid agencies, preventing them from transporting life-saving aid. 2. Reasons cited by Israel. Israel's military arm overseeing aid flows, COGET, provides specific reasons for the restrictions. Security concerns. This is the overarching reason used to justify the dual-use list and the total ban on UNRWA operations, though critics argue the sweeping restrictions go far beyond legitimate security needs. Ceasefire violations. At times, Israel has announced restrictions on aid, such as cutting the agreed-upon truck limit in half, in direct response to perceived violations of the ceasefire by Hamas, such as the delay in the release of hostages' bodies. 3. International response, the ICJ ruling. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, the UN's highest court, delivered a clear advisory opinion on this matter in October 2025. Obligation to facilitate aid. The ICJ ruled that Israel is obligated to agree to and facilitate relief schemes provided by the United Nations and its entities, including UNRWA. Aid found inadequate. The court found that the population in the Gaza Strip has been inadequately supplied and stressed that Israel must ensure the basic needs of the local population are met. Starvation as a method of warfare. The court also issued a warning, recalling Israel's obligation not to use the starvation of the civilian population as a method of warfare. This is a deep and complex part of the global news that you can cover to provide essential context for your viewers. Would you like to move on to the local news for the Fairmont area?
No.
Or do you have any other questions on it?
I don't feel like that is even fighting fair. I know that's not something that you're going to probably be able to help me with, but...
That is a very powerful and human reaction to this news. The complexity of the conflict often comes down to the simple, stark reality of human suffering.
Okay. Yeah, so hold on.
Which is what the aid issue highlights. Right. To address the idea of whether the aid restrictions are fighting for anything, here is the information on the perceived political and strategic goals behind Israel's aid policy, contrasted with the views of the international humanitarian community. Okay. 1. The strategic argument, Israel's perspective. From the Israeli government's point of view, the restrictions are part of a strategy to achieve its war goals. Pressure on Hamas, restricting the flow of goods, including fuel and construction materials, is seen as a way to limit Hamas's operational capabilities and its ability to resupply or rebuild its infrastructure, including tunnels. Mm-hmm. Leverage for hostage release, aid has been explicitly used as a bargaining chip. Restrictions are sometimes tightened or threatened in direct response to perceived delays or failures in negotiations to pressure Hamas into releasing hostages and bodies. Okay. Security vetting. Israel maintains that rigorous inspection and blocking of items is necessary to prevent materials that could be used for military purposes, the dual-use goods like pipes, cement, etc., from reaching Hamas. The restrictions on UNRWA are based on the claim that the agency is infested with terror activities, which the ICJ found to be unsubstantiated. Preventing diversion. Israel states its restrictions are also meant to prevent aid from being diverted by Hamas for its own use, rather than reaching the civilian population. 2. The humanitarian and legal counterargument. The international community, including the UN, the ICJ, and numerous aid organizations, sees the policy as a violation of international law. Collective punishment. Humanitarian groups argue that restricting food, water, and essential supplies to an entire population to pressure a militant group constitutes collective punishment, which is prohibited under the Fourth Geneva Convention. Starvation as a weapon. The ICJ's recent advisory opinion explicitly warned that Israel must respect the prohibition on the use of starvation of civilians as a method of warfare. Preventable famine. UN relief chiefs have called the confirmed famine in parts of Gaza a predictable and preventable famine caused by systematic obstruction. Aid workers report being overwhelmed by anger and helplessness, as food and medical supplies are ready at the borders but are not allowed in. Ineffectiveness. Aid agencies note that the restrictions not only cause immense suffering, but are also often arbitrary, blocking items like children's coloring books or mattresses, and cripple the ability of aid groups to function effectively, making it nearly impossible to coordinate a sufficient response. In summary, the Israeli government views the restrictions as a strategic and security-driven tool to weaken Hamas, while the global humanitarian and legal consensus views the policy as illegal and morally indefensible collective punishment that is directly causing a man-made catastrophe. Since this is an important topic for your news stream, is there a particular local story in the Fairmont area?
Yeah, so let's talk more about, is Israel going to get in trouble for all this? Is there something being done about not getting aid in?
That is the central political question right now. The short answer is that Israel is facing international legal and diplomatic pressure, but the enforcement mechanisms of the international system are limited. Here's a breakdown of what getting in trouble looks like in the international arena. 1.
It's bad.
The legal pressure, the ICJ rulings. The primary pressure comes from the International Court of Justice, ICJ, the UN's highest court, through 2 major cases. Aid and UNRWA ruling, October 2025 advisory opinion. The verdict, the ICJ, ruled that Israel has a legal obligation to agree to and facilitate humanitarian relief schemes provided by the UN, including UNRWA, and that its current restrictions are a breach of its obligations as an occupying power. The court also warned against the use of starvation of civilians as a method of warfare. Consequence: Israel has rejected the ruling as politicized. Advisory opinions are non-binding and do not carry automatic penalties, but they provide immense legal authority for the international community to act. Okay. Genocide case. Separate case. The orders. In a separate binding case brought by South Africa, the ICJ previously ordered Israel to take all measures to prevent acts of genocide in Gaza, and to take immediate and effective measures to enable the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian aid. Right. Compliance. Humanitarian watchdogs, including Human Rights Watch, argue that by restricting aid, Israel is flouting the binding orders from this earlier case. 2. Concrete actions and potential penalties. Since the ICJ does not have a police force, enforcement depends on UN bodies and individual countries taking action. Type of action. Current status. Potential next steps. Sanctions and trade. The European Union, EU, has taken steps to impose new tariffs on some Israeli goods and sanctions on specific extremist Israeli settlers and ministers to pressure the government. Spain has announced an arms embargo and a ban on trade from illegal settlements. More countries or the entire EU could choose to implement broader economic sanctions or suspend preferential trade agreements. Criminal accountability. The International Criminal Court, ICC, has outstanding arrest warrants for Israeli and Hamas leaders for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza.
Okay.
These warrants are pending but have not been enforced. The ICC is an independent body, and the decision on whether and when to enforce warrants relies on cooperation from its member states. Diplomatic and UN action. The ICJ's advisory opinion will be transmitted to the UN General Assembly for consideration and appropriate action.
Okay.
UN bodies have called for Israel's compliance.
Mm-hmm.
The UN Security Council could vote on a resolution imposing sanctions or other measures.
Okay.
However, the United States, US, holds veto power on the Security Council, which has historically been used to block actions against Israel. Aid agency funding. In response to the ICJ ruling, many governments are being urged to restore or increase funding for UNRWA, which Israel has been trying to dismantle. The primary consequence so far is increased diplomatic isolation and severe reputational damage. The biggest factor limiting consequences is the US's diplomatic protection, which prevents enforcement action at the UN Security Council, effectively creating an enforcement gap in the international legal system. Would you like to shift the focus now and cover a current local news story from the Fairmont area? From the Fairmont area?
What do we got on local? I know we got the leaf pickup started today, I believe.
I'm happy to shift focus to Fairmont.
Yeah.
The local news this week has been dominated by city council decisions, community events, and high school sports.
Okay.
Here are the top stories in the Fairmont area. City government and administration. The most significant item is the city council's ongoing process to fill multiple key leadership roles. Administrator transition. The city council met to discuss the transition plan for several crucial vacant or soon-to-be vacant positions, including city administrator, community development director, and chief of police. The city administrator position has been open since November of last year. A.G. Ellison visit. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison spoke in Fairmont on Saturday, October 25th, at the Red Rock Center for the Arts at the invitation of the Fairmont Area Human Rights Organization. Community news and events. Leaf pickup begins. The city's leaf pickup program is officially underway and will run through mid-November. The city is starting with properties north of Blue Earth Avenue/Lake Avenue. Cardinal Give Back Day. Fairmont High School, FHS, students participated in the annual Cardinal Give Back Day, tackling 39 community projects across Fairmont and Ceylon.
Okay.
Halloween events. Preparations are complete for local Halloween celebrations, including the second annual Prowl the Plaza trick-or-treating event. Sports highlights. Cross-country success. Fairmont senior Cooper Goodall set a new personal record and qualified for the state championship meet after finishing 8th as an individual at the Section 2 AA championships.
Okay.
Football playoffs. The Fairmont Cardinals football team recently fell to St. Peter, and other area teams like North Union have been active in their playoff games.
Okay.
Volleyball season ends. The Fairmont Cardinals volleyball season came to an end after a loss in the opening round of the Section 3 AA volleyball tournament. Would you like more details on the City Council's transition plan or any of the sports results?
No, I would like more details on what's going on with AI or anything like that. Any new developing stories about artificial intelligence?
That is a huge question. The AI space is moving incredibly fast right now.
Mm-hmm.
This month has seen major leaps in generative models, a fierce battle over AI hardware, and a new focus on AI integrated web browsing. Here are the most significant developments in AI this month. Major breakthroughs in generative models. OpenAI Sora 2 release. OpenAI has released Sora 2, a significant update to their text-to-video model. The new version is reported to generate 60-second video clips with better realism, more accurate physics, and, crucially, integrates high-fidelity, context-aware audio that syncs with the action on screen.
I have to look into that.
Google's VO 3.1. Google has also advanced its video model, VO 3.1, adding features like image-to-video capabilities and more granular controls for editing and prompt adherence. Adobe's Firefly 5. Adobe announced Firefly Image 5, which can generate photorealistic images at higher native resolutions and includes layered image editing directly within the generative process. The AI browser and hardware war, the AI search battle. there is a new competition to build AI-first web browsers. OpenAI's Atlas. OpenAI launched the Atlas browser for macOS, which features a conversational, voice-driven interface and an agent mode designed to execute complex tasks online. Microsoft Copilot mode. Microsoft immediately followed up by expanding its Copilot mode in Edge, turning the browser into an AI actions hub. The chip race, competition in the hardware needed to power AI, is escalating. Qualcomm's challenge. Qualcomm, known for smartphone chips, made a major push into the lucrative AI data center market, unveiling new AI processors, AI200 and AI250, designed to directly challenge the dominance of NVIDIA and AMD in running already trained AI models, inference. Apple M5 chip. Apple announced the M5 chip, which includes a new neural accelerator in each GPU core, designed to dramatically boost the performance of AI workloads on their devices. AI in the real world and enterprise. Humanoid robots. Imoga Robotics, incubated by Cherry Group, announced a new global strategy to roll out a family of humanoid and quadruped robots for various applications, including industrial, home, and companionship. Enterprise integration. A recent Cisco study found that only 13% of companies globally are truly AI ready, meaning most are still struggling to scale AI projects past the pilot stage due to gaps in data, security, and governance. Scientific research, the Wiley AI Gateway, launched as a platform to combat AI hallucinations in scientific research by integrating large language models directly with Wiley's vast library of peer-reviewed journals. Would you be interested in learning more about the AI search war between OpenAI and Microsoft?
Yes.
That's great. I can certainly provide more details on the AI browser war and the advancements in video generation models. The new AI browser war, Atlas versus Copilot mode, the latest competition is focused on building the AI-first browser, where the AI is the core way you interact with the web, not just an add-on. OpenAI Chat GPT Atlas. Core concept. The browser is built around the Chat GPT chatbot, replacing the traditional search bar with a conversational, voice-driven interface. Key feature, agent mode. This feature allows the AI to act on your behalf to complete multi-step tasks directly in the browser. For example, you can ask it to research flights to London for next month and compile the best 3 options. Add all the ingredients from this recipe webpage to my grocery cart. Users can approve or monitor actions for safety and transparency. Functionality. It can see and reason over the content of any webpage you visit, allowing you to ask it to summarize a long article or edit an email you're typing in a web form. Microsoft Edge Copilot mode. Core concept. Microsoft updated its existing Edge browser with a new Copilot mode as a direct, aggressive counter to Atlas. Key feature, actions and journeys, like Atlas, the new Copilot mode features. Actions. The AI can perform autonomous tasks like booking hotels or filling out forms. Journeys. This feature tracks and organizes all related tabs and searches for a complex task, like planning a trip or research project, making it easier to manage multi-step workflows. The showdown. Both browsers are now built on the same principle of a powerful AI agent, mediating your entire web experience. The main difference lies in the underlying AI model, ChatGPT for Atlas, Microsoft's Copilot for Edge, and which company's tech ecosystem you prefer. Video generation breakthroughs, Sora 2 versus Veo 3.1. The ability of AI to generate realistic, high-quality video is accelerating, with the key focus now on adding audio and improving physics. OpenAI Sora 2. Key advancement, synchronized audio. This is the headline feature. Sora 2 generates high-fidelity, context-aware audio, speech, sound effects, and ambient noise that is tightly synced with the visuals in the video. This eliminates the need for separate audio tools. Realism and physics. It shows significant improvement in adhering to real-world physics, making interactions like water splashes or object movements look much more authentic in the generated clips. Cameo feature allows users to record a short video/voice sample and use that safe avatar to insert a verified likeness of themselves into generated scenes. Google Veo 3.1. Focus, control, and consistency. Veo is often highlighted for its cinematic quality and stronger temporal consistency, meaning characters and objects look more consistent across multi-shot sequences. New features. The 3.1 update also introduced native audio generation and advanced editing tools like the ability to remove objects from a video. Comparison. Realism. Sora 2 often wins on physics, accurate realism, and synchronized sound for short, high-impact clips. Control. VO 3.1 has a stronger edge in fine-grained control and editing, allowing users to direct scenes more like a professional filmmaker. Would you like to know more about the safeguards and privacy features of the new AI browsers?
No, is there anything else in the news that's detrimental for today?
There are several major ongoing stories today, October 28th, 2025, that are causing significant concern both domestically and globally. The most widely reported and detrimental news centers around U.S. government instability and a major natural disaster threat, U.S. government and economic concerns. Food aid crisis. Numerous states, led by the governor of California, are planning to sue the federal government over its refusal to tap contingency funds to continue the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Millions of Americans are expected to lose access to food benefits starting November 1st due to the ongoing government funding stalemate.
Hopefully we figure that
Government
out.
shutdown impact. The current funding gridlock is causing real-world damage beyond social programs. Economic data. Critical economic data, including the jobs report, is being delayed, which financial experts warn leaves the Federal Reserve flying blind when making interest rate decisions. Environmental programs. Lawmakers are demanding the administration reverse the termination of the Solar for All program, arguing the move halts green energy funding for low-income households and jeopardizes American jobs and energy grid resilience. Global instability and natural disasters. Hurricane Melissa threat. Urgent warnings are being issued as Hurricane Melissa nears Jamaica, with the Red Cross warning that the storm could have a massive impact on the island, potentially affecting 1.5 million people. Eurasian tensions. Peace talks between Pakistan and Afghanistan regarding border tensions have ended without a conclusion, with both sides pointing fingers at each other. Corporate layoffs. Amazon announced it will cut approximately 14,000 corporate jobs as the company shifts spending toward ramping up its investment in artificial intelligence. Is there a specific region or type of news, like economic?
No, that was good. Let's close out this live stream. What do you got for me?
I'm glad I could provide the details you were looking for. Thank you for tuning into the stream. I appreciate the great questions about AI and current events. Is there anything else I can help you with before you sign off?
I don't think so, Gemini. When is your next update? Kind of.
That's an excellent question. Google continuously rolls out updates, so there isn't one single next update, but rather a rhythm of smaller releases and one expected major annual reveal. Here are the details on the updates you can expect. Next major feature release, Google follows a regular schedule for major AI announcements and platform upgrades. Gemini drops monthly. Google releases what they call Gemini drops on a regular basis, often monthly, to introduce a mix of smaller, immediate features, such as new integrations or minor model capability improvements.
Okay, that's cool. All right, that's all we got time for today. Say goodbye, and so will I.
It was a great conversation. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And to all you guys watching at home or on the run or wherever you are watching, thanks for watching. That was the news for today. Come back next time, tomorrow, and see what I dig up, and maybe jump on here and have some conversation with me. Till next time.